Morning, Naledi, and the viewers at home. As you have mentioned earlier on, they are handing over the Winnie Mandela Museum and also launching the Reconciliation Month in this town of Winnie Mandela that was formerly known as Brandfort. It was a long process to get to where we are from when it was decided that the house 802 where Winnie Madikizela-Mandela was banished in 1977, that it will be turned into a museum from back as 2008, where there was a money set aside to ensure that this house will be refurbished and turned into a national heritage site. But there were some irregularities. We understand also that there were 7 people that have been arrested this year with regards to the money that went missing, and we are told that there was money set aside, and about 2 companies were paid in 2008 to start with the process of refurbishing the building, but the work was not done. But that case is ongoing. But also we come back to the fact that last year in August, the Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, approved the name changing of this town that was normally known as Brandfort to Winnie Mandela, basically based on the fact that the struggle icon Winnie Madikizela-Mandela was banished to this town time. But after that decision of approving the name change, there were mixed reviews on the ground, where some residents were happy with the name changing, hoping that it will bring changes to their towns. But also there were concerns from other residents who were saying that they do not understand why it is significant to change the name, whereas there are still residents who are struggling, especially when it comes to issues of safety. They were saying that they were hoping that the town itself will be developed before the name changing, so that it could be befitting to that name of the struggle stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. But also there was a petition that was signed by more than 700 residents that was sent to the Minister of Arts and Culture then, rejecting the name changing, saying that the proper procedure was not followed in terms of making sure that the community is engaged and is taken through with this decision of the name changing. Even the information road signs that were changed at that time were defaced, and some were vandalized, as the community was really not happy with the name changing, raising basically the issues of service delivery. But then last year in April, when we spoke to the Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, he said it is very significant that this town is recognized, that this town and House 802 is refurbished just to honor Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. Even today, the launching of the Reconciliation Month is exactly to do that, to honor the sacrifices that she made here in 1977, where she stayed for about 9 years with this community. But just to speak to some of the residents, just to take us through how they are feeling with the changes up to so far, and also with the opening of the museum after such a long process of trying to refurbish, money being missing, as well as those protests that we saw last year when the name changing thing happened. We are with some of the residents. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to get your feeling, how you're feeling with the name changing of the town itself to Winnie Mandela, but also the museum. You were telling us earlier on that even now you haven't had that access to the museum, but it has been said before that this museum will be refurbished, it will be open for the community.
Yes, it's true. We are not happy about the museum because we don't have the access to enter in the museum. We don't know what's going on there, and many people are coming here from far towns, and they don't have an access to enter the museum. So about the name, yes, I think many people in the community are not happy because some other people they just heard that the name is going to change, but they don't have anything or what they can do about the name, because some other people they understand that the name Brandfort is also the history. So I don't know our leaders, how they do things. So I think the community, they are not happy. They are not happy at all.
Okay, let's talk about the museum itself. Do you think it will really be bring something to the town itself now that we understand that Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, will be handing over, possibly giving you the community opportunity to enter into the museum, as you said that you were always surprised that you don't have access to it?
Yes, I think if they can open the museum, it will bring changes, because the tourists will come and buy some things here in the community. Yes, I think.
Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to bring in another resident. Please just come. Just take us through some of the changes and what you feel about what is happening today with the name changing, with the museum being opened today.
No, about the museum. The thing is that it's being a long museum has been built, and then they've been telling us about the opening of the museum. They've been changing the dates of the opening of the museum until today. Now today I don't think it's the right time for them to open the museum, because we have nothing to notice in the museum about the museum. And the name of the town changing, it's the worst part, because I'm the resident of this town. But I saw the road signs there saying the town is Winnie Mandela, not knowing when it started to communicate with the community to ask about the name changing. It's not good. It's not good to us as a community to hear the name changing after so many years. We've been hearing Brantford. And then about the museum, it's not okay. I'm so disappointed about them changing the dates, because there's been many ceremonies telling us about the opening of the museum.
But do you think it's important that there is this museum? Do you think it will bring something to your town?
I don't think so, because the museum is being a long time. It might be 5 to 7 years now the museum has been built. As for me, for the museum to be opened now, I don't see any change on coming time.
Let's bring in the issue of service delivery. You were telling me that where you are living, there's still issues of service delivery even today. Take us through that.
Yes, there's no running water in my location, there Mountain View. And then sewage, there's nothing happening about the sewage. The streets itself, our streets are not smooth at all for the cars, for the community. And then the other thing is that since from 2010, you can just imagine going out there looking for water. It's been 10 years now, buying wheelbarrows. Every year, buying wheelbarrows. And then there's no change at all since from that time. Now I want to ask if any of our leaders today, I want to meet any of our leaders today, just to tell me what to expect after they came here.
What is it that you want?
I want them to fix the problem of running waters, because there's no way we can live without a water. We have old people in that side. They call the location Slovo Park, the new location, of which they took our old people to that side with no water, no housing, no electricity. There's nothing our municipality do for us in our location.
Thank you very much. That is another resident just highlighting some of the issues that they are facing as residents of Brantford, now known as Winnie Mandela, just highlighting some of the service delivery issues in terms of what has been happening and the name changing, and even the long process of the opening of the museum itself. As I highlighted earlier on, that it has been years, there have been money being put aside for for this, the house of Winnie Madikizela-Mandela to be refurbished, money missing, but the job not being done to an extent that the National Department of Arts and Culture had to come in to also assist the Departments of Sports, Arts and Culture in the Free State. This is where we find ourselves today. We understand that the house of the struggle stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela will be officially handed over today, and also opening of the launching of the Reconciliation Month, but also earlier on this whole program started with the march against the GBV.